Hey everybody, Dan Henry here, and in this video we're going to talk about why the move by Nike to endorse Colin Kaepernick was absolutely genius, whether you agree with it or not. All right, so first of all, if you are unaware, Nike just came out with a new ad, and I'm sure you've seen the news about it. It's all over CNN.com and just CNN Money and all these, Facebook and everywhere. And basically, the ad is this. It's an image of Colin where it says, believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything, and the Just Do It Nike logo there at the bottom. So why is this such a big deal? And more importantly, why is it genius? First of all, if you believe that Nike, the advertising force at Nike, honestly is picking a side, I hate to break it to you, but I highly, highly doubt that. I highly doubt that someone at Nike actually feels deep down in their heart that they've chosen this political side, and that's why they've done this. It is 100% a genius advertising technique, ploy, whatever you want to call it, and here is why. I'm sitting here right now making a video about this. Everybody on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everybody is talking about it, and this is what's happening. Everybody keeps saying Nike, 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 over and over again. The bottom line is, ye who receives the most attention wins. 99.9% of the time, there's no such thing as bad press. Just look at our recent presidential election. Donald Trump, whether you love him or hate him, he was able to generate 10 times more free media than all of his Republican primary competitors bought in paid media and their free media combined. And that was because he was able to do polarizing and controversial things, say polarizing and controversial things that cause the media to talk about him. When the media is talking about him, he is now in front of eyeballs. And if he's in front of eyeballs, those eyeballs are attached to voters. Just like in the case of Nike, they choose a side, and honestly, I don't think it would have mattered what side or whose side or what the political landscape looked like. The bottom line is there was something, there was a trend, there was a movement that they knew if they ran an ad with Colin Kaepernick and they said this slogan, everybody would freak out. You'd have half the country going, this is terrible, rah, rah, rah. Guys should be standing up for the flag, and then the other half would be, civil rights, and they would fight. They would talk about it online constantly, and they would just go back and forth. Regardless of what you believe, what side you're on is irrelevant. What's relevant is that no matter who you are, you're talking about Nike. And when Nike is talked about, that translates to brand awareness, which translates to sales. Early in my career, when I was just getting started and nobody knew who I was, I did some pretty wild things, some pretty crazy things, some things that I knew would anger one type of customer that I really wasn't interested in, and also make another customer laugh or what have you. And I knew that that polarizing message would cause those two entities to argue. And when they argued, that created exposure. Did you hear what Dan Henry did here? I remember one time I filmed this skit where I did a literal skit, almost like an SNL type skit based off the movie The Purge. And I thought it was funny. Most of my audience thought it was funny. It was just a skit. And because it featured violence and things like that, because it was a skit based on a parody of The Purge, which is a movie about, violence, it angered a lot of people. And there's a lot of people that thought I was promoting violence or something. Apparently those same people don't watch any sort of comedy or Saturday Night Live or anything like that. They take everything in this world serious, fine. But they would bring it up and be like, I can't believe Dan did this. This is promoting violence and blah, 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 blah. When they did that, it created exposure. And then other people would be like, who's Dan? And they go and they go, Dan Henry. And then they look up, register for my webinar, and buy my course. And a lot of those things were very polarizing events that happened that caused a lot of people to talk and They went viral. And so that's what's happening here with Nike. They are going into a space with lots and lots of chatter and lots of arguments and debate online and lots of exposure online, and they're injecting themselves into that exposure. So now they've shifted the conversation. That is what this all boils down to. Right now, there is a conversation in America that's not going away. You know, it's a conversation of civil rights and racism and all this stuff. It's an ongoing and it's very hot conversation. It's not going away. And so what Nike has done is they have leveraged that hot topic and they've injected themselves into it. So now when there's tons and tons of exposure and arguments and debate and videos made, just like this video you're watching right now, about racism and civil rights and all this stuff, guess what's happening now? Nike is being injected into almost all of it, and their brand awareness has shot through the roof. And if you think that the amount of people that will not buy their shoes outweighs the amount of new customers or more shoe sales they will have due to this exposure, then you're living on a rock, okay? Because 90% of advertising is simply exposure. It's getting talked about. Whether or not someone agrees or disagrees with you, either way, if they're talking about you, somebody else out there who may be interested in your products or service is going to become aware of you, be reminded of you. You're going to be on the brain. The thing about Nike is we're all talking about Nike right now. And I understand that the stock dipped 3% the day after they released this. Doesn't matter. That stock dips always happen after risky advertising moves. That is not an indicator whatsoever as of if this worked or not. The bottom line is it is working. We're talking about it. I freaking sat down here to take the time to do a video about it, for crying out loud. If you are looking to grow your business, right? Think about how you can get more exposure. Think about how you can change the conversation or make the existing conversation about your business. If you are in marketing and you are in advertising, you cannot deny that this was genius. Absolutely genius. So start thinking about that for your own business and let me know. What do you think? Do you think this was a smart move by Nike? Do you think this is going to hurt sales or help sales? Would love to know. All right. See you guys next time. Dan Henry out. Hey, thanks for watching my entire YouTube video. If you go ahead and click the subscribe button now, I promise I'll stop doing this.